Mira Business FM, where business comes to talk.
It's Mira Business FM, it's the morning drive, and construction now. The UAE's construction sector is on, shall we say, fast track? That's probably a reasonable phrase. Expected to cross $130 billion by the end of the decade. Projects are growing bigger, more complex. Construction is therefore shifting from just building fast to building smart, safe, and resilient. So later this week, Dubai is hosting Safe Dubai 2026. It's a forum focused on how real-time monitoring and data intelligence are changing the way infrastructure risks are managed and the way long-term decisions are made. Joining us this morning, Arushi Bhalla is the MD and Rathin Mathur is the President for Strategy from Encardio, right? It's a global infrastructure monitoring firm. They're hosting Safe Dubai 2026 and here to talk about why I suppose data-driven decision-making is becoming critical for the region's next phase of growth. Arushi, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Good to have you here. Rathin, same for you as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in. Look, I appreciate you both joining us. So I'm going to ask you, the first question is for both of you because Arushi, you're the managing director, and then we'll get the strategic answer after you, I guess. UAE construction market, let's say it's growing rapidly. Okay, it's a reasonable way to assess it, I guess. But what new risks emerge when projects scale at the pace that we're seeing? Because there's nowhere like this really on the planet, is there?
Yeah. So when projects are coming up at scale and there are multiple projects coming up, the risks compound.
Yes.
Because somewhere you're making a metro, which is going subsurface. Somewhere you're trying to make a high-rise building, which is going up 70 stories. So that is behaving in its own way and having its own impact on the structure. Yeah. And the tunnel going down has its own impact on the structure. So you can imagine when multiple projects are going on, it's giving very confusing signal. One is settling, one is boring. So because of that, and as it is, UAE is by the sea, water level is very high. So it's anyway a very fragile ecosystem. So when multiple projects are happening together, there is just far too much data and there's far too much happening. So it becomes more and more complex as you go forward.
Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. Rathin, what would you add to that from your kind of strategic viewpoint?
I think what I would like to say is that amongst all this multiple hues of activities going on, the real risk somewhere is decision lag. Because data is fragmented, it's coming from multiple sources, it's sitting in different locations, and for it to really become, for decision to get facilitated, this data needs to get integrated, it needs to get analyzed, it needs to get validated, and then it needs to be fed to various levels of stakeholders as a feed for safer and more confident decisions going into the future. So as to make sure that the infrastructure is safer, it's more resilient, we're able to extend the asset life of assets. I think that's where it's really moving towards.
So we're getting more and more data than ever, Arushi, coming from construction sites. So the bigger challenge than, I guess, collection, that's one side, but it's, from your point of view, it seems to me it's interpretation.
It is interpretation because just data is never sufficient. I mean, today, if you're just getting, say, your blood pressure, it's really not sufficient. If it's high, low, it's meaningless. What really happens is that what else is happening around, Sure. How is it supposed to behave? What are site conditions? How is construction moving? So a lot of factors play into data. So even if we have data, till we do not start using the different factors and collaborating it all, that pure data is meaningless. So in our industry, we have faced basically two problems. Like Rathin said, one was fragmentation. We had data coming in from very different sources. Construction data is separate, satellite data is separate, monitoring data is separate. We've somewhere reached a point where we have now a single platform. But in today's world now, with all this technology that there is, with this data and everything, all the other information that we have, for example, the site conditions that we have, weather, climate plays a massive role in construction too. We need to collaborate all this data and develop some kind of predictive trends so that we really know where the whole thing is going.
Well, how do you do that? How do you collaborate and integrate all of this data that you have? Because it almost seems to me, I mean, it's certainly a thankless task, isn't it, I guess?
Well, it's a thankless task, maybe, but it's an extremely important task.
Sure.
Because if today, for our industry, this is all monitoring has always been about compliance.
Right.
But today, the stage that we're reaching at, the technology has become so smart. See, even when you're on your phone knows what you're going to search. Okay, because there's enough machine learning, enough intelligence for it to know how you work.
My phone knows more than I do, for sure.
Exactly. If you go into ChatGPT and say, hey, tell me more about myself, it'll probably tell you more than you know. So with all this kind of data and all this machine learning and all these different tools that are available, we can today define how the asset is going to move, which is massive. Because we can predict that, okay, this needs repair. Here you can give, you can do lesser grouting. So it has carbon benefits. It can save lives. It can save cost. It can save time. So everything coming together with all the different technologies today. The other thing is we can get data from every source. We're getting data from the sky, which we actually call Skywatch. Okay, so it's remote sensing. We are getting data from things like LiDAR. Then we are putting ground sensors. So we are actually being able to see right from ground to sky. And every form of data gives you different information. So when you put it all together, we can literally predict where you need to be looking at. So it's become as powerful as that.
That's remarkable. How has infrastructure monitoring evolved from, as Arushi says there, Rathin, a compliance tool into a decision-making asset?
I think the question has changed considerably. The question that was asked of monitoring earlier was, are we within limit? Right. And that is what its role vis-a-vis compliance was. I think today we're moving towards answering the question is what should we do next and what could we do next? This is specifically important when it comes to markets like the Middle East. If you look at the skyline of Dubai, it is an endless vista of imagination. The buildings like Burj Khalifa, One Za'abeel, these are beyond standard engineering, designs and formats. They're highly imaginative, highly creative, attempts. The metro line itself, the high-speed rail coming up, the deep sewer project which is on the anvil. All of this is a very dynamic market. This is a very, very, this is a place which is keeping pace with the growing population, with the climate changing, so on and so forth. So I think when integrated with design, assumptions and construction sequencing, monitoring becomes predictive. It creates the ability to add context to design and context to performance and able to connect the dots. I think that is where monitoring will be able to answer the question that what should we do next and what could we be doing next. This is what is going to increase asset longevity. This is what is going to keep asset health. This is going to help that while we're continuing to increase our infrastructure, we're keeping everything around that zone of influence safe, and we're creating a resilience city.
I love your phrase there, by the way, an endless vista of imagination. That was very poetic.
Thank you.
And actually describes Dubai really well, I think. Arushi, let me ask you, in terms of a live project, what does intelligence-driven asset management actually look like?
Okay, I think I can give you two different examples.
Cool.
So, and these are examples that we've really been working on. So when we were doing the Dubai Metro, all right, there is a design which says, okay, this is the diaphragm wall, this is the amount of cement that needs to be going in, this is the amount of grouting that needs to be going in.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And now so there's a design, and then we had all this instrumentation. And we started seeing that the diaphragm wall was moving outwards, which you really don't want.
Okay.
And as the monitoring showed, that there was too much grouting. Okay, there was too much pressure. The design had been done. We didn't need that much, all right? Because when design is created, it's always created for excess, okay? I mean, the worst case scenario.
Sure, yeah.
So in that case then, we sat with the consultants, sat with the designers, and we could see that if you reduce the cement, you reduce the grouting, all right, the diaphragm wall did not deflect. And because of that, there were multiple benefits. There was saving of cost, okay, less cement, environmentally better off, all right, and saving of time because you could move on with the line much faster.
Right.
So this is how this intelligence monitoring saves time and cost. I'll give you another example. This One Za'abeel tower that we all talk about, okay?
We're all talking about it.
Yeah, it's two different towers, all right, different heights. Okay, now if you have two different towers with different heights, obviously the settlement pressure is different, all right? And then there's a fast-moving flyover which is going on in the middle, all right? We went down into the basement, connected a tunnel. And then eventually this link, which is heavier than the Eiffel Tower,
Right.
all right, and inside it's 3 stories high, so it's as probably as big as this building is,
Okay.
was lifted and put into place. So can you even imagine?
I'm trying to, but I can't.
You actually have to go into that link to stand there to imagine what an engineering marvel it was. And it was only possible because of monitoring. There was 24/7 monitoring happening when that bridge, and not one technology, there were multiple technologies. There were strain gauges, there were automatic roll stations, there was photogrammatic going on, and this link was lifted slowly, and put into place. So because data was used and data was used intelligently and all correlated, everybody was on team opposite side all the time while this whole massive iconic building was created. So today, of course, it helps us doing things like metros, but it also helps us create these fabulous structures, which is making Dubai today for what it is.
Which we don't think about, do we?
We don't think about.
Those are 2 really good examples. So let me just broaden the conversation slightly. Global studies point to massive inefficiencies in construction. That's nothing new, of course. Strategically, so I'm coming to you, Rathin, once again, where are projects losing the most value these days?
The ability to be able to read early signals is what will allow projects to maximize efficiencies. There was a very interesting book written by a professor from Oxford, How Big Things Get Done, where he built a database of, I think, 12,000 of the world's largest projects. And he came and he demonstrated that 99.99% of the world's largest infrastructure projects are either delayed or over budget or under the original specifications that they had anticipated.
Right.
It's only 0.01% that meets it. And the cause of that is the inability to receive early trends, receive early signals, and be able to look at information before it actually happens. I think today, and the irony of this is that data is usually available. There is no project in which where data is not being recorded or being measured. So the monitoring exists. It is what are we going to do of monitoring that is really the question. And the value that we will be able to create when we look at data, integrate it, analyze it, and use it as a decision intelligence support.
So why is there a mismatch then? If the data is available, the monitoring is available, why is there still a mismatch there? That's what I'm trying to figure out here.
I think up till now, it's I don't know how to say this. I think there are so many stakeholders in every project.
Right.
And therefore data resides in different locations. Technology today allows us to create a platform which brings it all together, which is able to, using artificial intelligence, using machine learning, being able to read trends, interpret trends, and use them for intelligence and prediction. I think the technology today is enabling us to answer questions that earlier we probably had, but were not able to answer. And I think that's really where it is. I think we're at the right place at the right time. I think also because of climate, there are certain challenges in the infrastructure, and for which answers have to be provided. And I think the technology today is ready for that.
Okay, so we can do better, can't we, Arushi, simply put?
Yeah, and also I think, as an industry, we're a very niche industry. And as an industry, also, we've been very fragmented.
Okay.
We've had different players doing different things. I mean, literally, I think Encardio is the first company where we manufacture our own sensors, we go ahead and do services, we have our own software, and we have our own now intelligence department. And we're taking turnkey projects, so we're really becoming that one-stop solution for everybody else. Either they're doing sensors or they're doing services. So with our industry also somewhere needs to, become like this one consolidated strong player.
Right.
And so far, it's always been perceived as compliance. This is one of the reasons we've started events like Save Dubai. We did one recently in Serbia, and now we are getting on to this situation where we are sharing examples like this. And I shared 2 examples with you, and it made so much sense to you. So the mindset also needs to change a little bit. Maybe 5 years back, technology was not available to, this is all big data. It's massive data. But today we can handle data of any level. Like another example, we were working on a project here in Dubai, and in 3 months, we collected 2 million data points. This was about 7-8 years ago. Now, for us to put in 2 million data points 7-8 years ago and make sense of it was not easy. And this was within a period of, I think, 2 or 3 months, very short. But we were taking data every 5 seconds because the nature of the project was such. But today, with all these tools, we can make sense of that data in 30 minutes. So, A, technology has helped us. B, there is a change of mindset. And I think this education, this awareness, social media, so many things today are giving us those platforms for creating this awareness with people. And literally, we only started Save Dubai because of that, because we've been here since 2006. We've literally worked on the first Dubai metro to now this new one that we're working on, Blue Line, One Za'abeel, Burj Khalifa, Step Tower, every project we have worked on. And we have realized this lack of. And that is why since last year we're meeting asset holders, and we're telling people it's possible. And this is where it's been done. So let's make it a norm rather than just looking at it as a compliance issue. This data can really give value to people.
Back to that earlier question, isn't it? Rather than a compliance issue, this is a decision-making process. That's the point. So what is it about? Talk to me about Safe Dubai then. 2026, it's particularly relevant for regional developers, it's for contractors, it's for asset owners. But just tell me a little bit about the event.
So what we really do here is that we get in all the latest technology that is available in an industry. So we also invite different technology partners. We, of course, do a lot of presentations ourselves. And we invite all these stakeholders. And we spend this day deliberating. We also talk about project examples. What has happened? What can we learn? What is a new technology? What are the gaps in the industry that we can fill up? Like last year when we were here, the gap that turned out was purely that data is not integrated. It's the asset owner will have something, construction company will have something. So we worked on that, and that awareness came up. And now we're talking about the intelligence. So Save Dubai is really that platform where we're discussing the real problems of the industry, the real solutions of the industry, and trying to bring it together. It's not an Encardio. It's a platform that we have created, and there are people from all kinds. So every possible technology that there is. Like this time, our keynote speaker is Professor Soga. Professor Soga is stalwart in the industry. He has been associated with this industry for I don't know how many years, Cambridge to Berkeley. He has literally been the pioneer of so many new technologies. So he is actually coming and addressing that how beautifully this decision intelligence is being used in so many different infrastructure projects in the world. So it's bringing together different people who have the experience, who have the technology, who have the know-how, and also people who have the ability. That's why we get the asset owners and the stakeholders in, because they are the people who have the ability to make a change in the process.
If I may, sorry.
No, go on, Rathin.
If I may add, at Encardio, one of our strategic pillars is what we call Winfluence. It is our ability for the entire industry to win if we can influence, enable, and empower one another. And we started Safe Dubai last year, 2025. And when we started it, we said, it was a typical event where people said, Encardio is hosting it. It must be all about Encardio's products, solutions, services, technologies. And we said, hang on, that's not what this day is about. We opened the stage. We shared the platform with our competitors who we invited to become participants to the event. And we said, let's just take this day to take a step back and to really think, because every day is about operations. Every day is about, business results and targets and so on and so forth. But we said, let's just take a step back and try and understand where we are and where we could be, and start a conversation. Now, what's become very exciting about Save Dubai is that it's not just a conversation. Today, it's a dialogue. And it's a dialogue that is dynamically progressing year after year. We started with, just asking the questions last year, and through conversations, panels, the answer was unanimous that we really need to start thinking of integration. And when we started talking to stakeholders about integration, they said, hey, listen, it's not just integration. There's more than integration. We need decision intelligence. We need to be able to make more confident decisions. So today, when we bring in a Professor Kenichi Soga, who is the head of civil engineering at Berkeley, and like Arushi said, who has been the pioneer of several technologies, in his laboratories have been the breeding ground for some of the most innovative technologies like optical fiber monitoring and so on and so forth. What we are doing now is we're creating, once again, that space is now becoming a community for people of this industry to come, think, explore, discuss, and we hope at some point get influenced to say, as asset holders, as asset owners, as consultants, we probably have all the processes we require, we have the technologies we require. We probably need to change the way we do things to gain greater value in all of this. And I think if we can do that, Save Dubai is successful.
Do you know, there are many questions I have, and I haven't had a chance to ask you. We are so way. I've literally looked at the clock and realised we're over time. They're going to shout at me, but who cares? It's fine. Arushi Bhalla is the Managing Director. Rathin Mathur is the President for Strategy. From Encardio writes, Safe Dubai 2026 is on this week. And I thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. This is Mira Business FM. The news is slightly late, but it is next.
Mira Business FM, where business comes to talk.